Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of this Community Schools Foundations module. We're going to dive deeper into the first of 4 pillars of community schools. As a reminder, these questions guide our learning today. What framework is a community school based on? And how do we shift toward a community school model? We shared this image in the previous video of the 4 pillars of community schools. This is part of the framework of California community schools. We'll be discussing collaborative leadership and practices first, because we believe this pillar is the foundation and driver of the work to support the other pillars. In the collaborative leadership and practices pillar, parents, students, teachers, principals, and community partners build a culture of professional learning, collective trust, and shared responsibility using strategies such as site-based leadership teams and teacher learning communities. True integration and implementation of full-service community schools cannot happen without this pillar. Through the California Way that we discussed in the introductory video, collaborative leadership and practices are a capacity building strategy. Remember, our guiding question for this series is, how do we shift toward a community school model? Collaborative leadership is one way. Here is another visual from the State Transformational Assistance Center, or STAC, of the capacity building strategies. Our purpose for showing you this slide is to make a visual connection to the resources you may be encountering to make further sense of the framework of California community schools. According to the Community Schools Playbook, collaborative leadership and practices provides the relational glue that connects and reinforces the other pillars, making it foundational and critical for the success of a community school strategy. By developing a shared vision and goals and creating participatory practices for distributing responsibilities, a community school leverages the collective expertise of all its stakeholders. You'll notice we've highlighted some key phrases and words here. This collaborative leadership pillar is the relational glue. It connects and reinforces the other pillars. Also, having a shared vision and goals is extremely important in being a community school. Why does your school exist? Reflect on your school's mission and vision statements. Do you know what they are? Do they reflect your values? Do they reflect all stakeholder values, including students, parents, families, and the community? Creating participatory practices allows for responsibilities to be distributed among those who are part of community schools. In doing so, you will be utilizing the collective expertise of all your stakeholders, not just those who work at the school. As we think about shifting toward a community school model, we have to consider how we've, quote-unquote, traditionally done things, such as the top-down power and decision-making model. In a community school, much of the power and decision-making is shared. There are processes and structures in place to ensure all stakeholders have a voice. If you're curious to learn more about what this looks like in practice, please explore the next webinars on collaborative leadership and also on shared decision-making. We delve deeper into this capacity building strategy so you can continue shifting toward a community school. So now we know collaborative leadership is important. Well, why does it matter? It is vital to building an inclusive environment where all stakeholders are committed to creating racially just and relationship-centered schools. If this sounds familiar, then good. This is reflected in the cornerstone commitments we discussed in the introductory video, and we'll delve deeper into this in part 6 of this series. Another reason why collaborative leadership matters is because it allows educators, students, and families to work together to define and co-create their learning environments. That is incredibly powerful. A third reason is that it creates spaces for collective problem solving and possibility thinking to meet the unique needs of each school community. We are better together when it comes to solving big problems, and our sense of collective efficacy is higher. And lastly, collaborative leadership uplifts the expertise of all stakeholders. Everyone has assets and expertise they can contribute. A collaborative leadership approach validates and recognizes those collective assets. So now that we've provided an overview of the collaborative leadership and practices pillar, we'd like you to have a discussion if you're participating in teams. Feel free to divide yourselves into pairs or small groups of 3 to 4. If you're participating individually, please reflect on these questions and write your thoughts in the note-taking handout provided with this webinar. We encourage you to use norms of collaboration to foster positive discussion and facilitation. Before you discuss in groups, decide which norm you will adhere to. Pausing, paraphrasing, putting ideas on the table, posing questions, paying attention to self and others, providing data, or presuming positive intentions. Feel free to share your chosen norm with your partner or group, or type it in the chat if you are video conferencing. Here are the questions. What collaborative teams exist at your site that include multiple stakeholder groups, such as administrators, teachers, classified staff, students, families, and community partners? And how do these teams share responsibility and decision-making power to drive positive school outcomes? Pause the video here for about 10 minutes to discuss with your partner or group, or to write your reflections. And feel free to take more time if you need. This is the end of part 2 of this series. Click the next video, part 3, for a discussion on the next pillar of community schools.